Hey y'all! Thought we'd pop in today to talk about getting started with sewing in a way that actually feels doable, and maybe even a little bit fun. Because let's be honest, when you're new to sewing, it can feel like there's this huge gap between I just threaded my machine for the first time and I made a beautiful handmade piece. And that gap can feel intimidating. But here's the thing, sewing doesn't have to start with complicated patterns or big, overwhelming projects. In fact, the best way to build confidence is to start with small, practical things you're actually going to use in your everyday life. So, today we're going to walk through 7 easy sewing projects that are perfect for beginners and, more importantly, are things you'll genuinely want to use, keep, or gift. Let's start with something super simple but surprisingly satisfying: fabric bookmarks. These are one of those projects that don't look like much at first, but they're kind of perfect when you're starting out. You're mostly working with straight seams, small pieces of fabric, and it gives you a chance to get comfortable guiding your fabric under the needle. And the fun part is, bookmarks are incredibly customizable. You can add a ribbon at the top, try a decorative stitch on the edge, or even stitch a tiny bit of embroidery if you're feeling adventurous. They're also a great way to use up fabric scraps, which, trust me, you will start collecting faster than you expect. Next up, drawstring bags. These are such a classic beginner project, and for good reason. They teach you a couple of really important skills without being overwhelming. Things like sewing seams consistently and creating a casing for the drawstring. Once you make one, you'll immediately start finding uses for them. They're perfect for storing small items like dice or makeup, crafting supplies, even herbs if you're into that side of things. They also make fantastic little gift bags, which means your sewing can start becoming part of your gift giving. Third on the list is the simple tote bag. If you can sew a straight line, you can absolutely make a tote bag. And this is one of those projects that make you start to feel like, ooh, I made something real. Tote bags introduce you to slightly larger pieces of fabric and sometimes something called box corners, which sound complicated, but it really isn't once you try it. And the best part is you'll actually use it, whether it's for groceries, library books, or hauling your latest yarn haul home. Now let's start talking about something a little more fun and flexible: reversible headband or hair scrunchies. These are fantastic for beginners because they introduce you to working with elastic, which is a skill you'll use again and again in sewing. They're quick, they're cute, and they're incredibly giftable. You can make a few in an afternoon, try out a few different fabrics, and really start experimenting with color and texture without committing to a big project. And honestly, they're just a lot of fun to make. So number 5 on the list is pillow covers, specifically envelope-style pillow covers. These are such a great project if you want to start making things for your home. They give you practice with hemming, working with corners, and layering fabric pieces together. And what I love about pillow covers is how easy they are to swap out. You can make seasonal ones or themed ones, or just change things up whenever you feel like your space needs a little refresh. It's a simple way to bring your creativity into your everyday environment. Next, we have microwave bowl cozies. These are one of those projects that are both cute and incredibly practical. If you've ever grabbed a hot bowl out of the microwave and immediately regretted it, you already know why these might be useful. They do require a little bit of extra attention because you need to use 100% cotton materials, like your fabric, your thread, and your batting, to make sure they're safe for the microwave. But once you know that, they're still very beginner friendly and incredibly rewarding to make. Finally, pin cushions. Now, this might sound like a small thing, but pin cushions are one of those tools you'll use constantly once you start sewing regularly. Making your own is a great introduction to stuffing techniques and working on a small scale. You can keep them simple or get creative with your shapes and designs. And there's something really satisfying about using a tool that you made yourself every time you sit down to sew. Now, before we wrap up, let's talk about a few simple tips that will make your sewing experience so much smoother right from the beginning. First, always pre-wash your fabric. I know it feels like an extra step that you want to skip, but it will help prevent shrinkage later on, which can save you a lot of frustration. You do want to be able to put a lot of these things in the dryer. Second, press your fabric and your seams as you go. I know ironing isn't the most exciting part of sewing, but it genuinely makes a huge difference in how your final project looks. It's one of those small habits that creates a big improvement. And finally, don't worry about perfection. Your first projects are not going to be flawless, and that's okay. Sewing is a skill you build over time, stitch by stitch. And every project teaches you something new, even the ones that don't turn out quite how you expect. The goal here isn't to create perfect pieces right away. It's to build confidence, get comfortable with your machine, and start enjoying the process. Because at the end of the day, sewing is about creating something with your own hands, and there's something really special about that. So if you've been sitting on the fence about starting, or if your sewing machine has been just collecting dust, this is your sign to just pick a project and go for it. Start small, keep it simple, and let yourself learn as you go. Well, y'all, that's about it. Tell me which project you're most excited to try first, or if you've already made one of these and have some tips to share. Happy stitching!